Hey y'all, welcome to Crystal's Den. I'm Crystal and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Okay, so thank you to those who watched my latest video. It was my seed starting video, and I also added a seed growth update. The seed starting video was two-parter, and my apologies, the second part got restricted, and so it required a login. That was a mistake, and it's unrestricted now. So if you missed part 2, go check it out. I've linked it below. And yeah, you'll see the seeds we planted, and also there's a seed growth update video that I've also posted below that you can check out as well. So yeah, check those out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate when you do all of those. And yeah, just thank you for being here and watching this. So today I wanted to plant potatoes. We are planting potatoes. We're gonna do in-ground and we're gonna do containers. But I also wanted to add some companions to them. So I have at least one, but possibly 3 companion plants that I want to plant with potatoes today with you. So that would be thyme. It's thyme. To plant this thyme. Marigolds. I actually shout out to Grant. We got a shit ton of marigolds from him. Thank you so much. Again, I'm gonna plant those because the thyme enhances the growth. The marigolds, they help enhance, well, they help protect the potato from like pests and stuff. And then I wanted to add some corn. The corn provides it with some like nice like shade during those hot days, and it's okay to plant with potatoes. So last year I planted potatoes, and I planted them in just like kind of like old desk. I ended up planting the potatoes in there, and I had like 5. I'm pretty sure I squished them together. They were pretty close. And also they were whole. So usually what a lot of people do, sorry, I was like moving. Usually what a lot of people do is they'll cut the potato and cut it where the sprout is. And so when you do that, then you're like kind of separating it into pieces, and you have like, you know, you could have multiple different, like just think of it as a seed. These are called seed potatoes. And so what you do is you plant that that sprout, and it'll like, you know, start coming up. Last year, however, I put them in their hole, had them close together, and they were in this contained environment. So, and I only did 5 potatoes. So because I did all 3 of those things and had really low amount of potatoes, I only got about this much from my harvest. So yeah, a really low yield. So this year I'm going to cut them like I showed you. I've already cut them, have them ready, and I'm going to be putting them in the ground and using containers. I'm going to be trying out 5-gallon buckets. I have a couple going right now, and they're going pretty strong, so I'm excited to see how this next batch will do. And I'm going to be sure to kind of space them apart. Some people do 6 inches apart, some people do a foot. I'm going to do a foot. So I'm really excited to try growing potatoes again and implementing these new growing strategies that will be vastly different than what I did last year. Yeah. So let's go on out and plant these potatoes along with our companion plants. Before we go, one thing I forgot to mention is, you know, when you cut the potato, it's important that you let them sit for a good 3 to 4 or 5 days. The point of this is to cure the potato. It's called curing the potato, and it's just essentially when you're like letting it dry out so that it's not like going into the soil like with any like attached bacteria or like, you know, anything like that. So these would be an example of cured potatoes because they've been sitting out for about 5 to 6 days at this point, and they're nice and dry and ready to be put in the ground. All right, let's go outside. Okay, so these are my potatoes that I have in the ground that are growing right now. I had planted 9 little like sprout pieces, and this is what I've got. So you see we have 3, 6, 9. They've been growing really nicely, and I'm super excited about them. I also have some in containers. Boop, boop. So these are my container potatoes, And these are going pretty well too. Yeah, they're growing nicely. There's like a weird shadow, which I'm like, fuck, but it's okay. These are looking like way like better, and just way better than the ones I had last year. And it's definitely, I think a big part of it is because it is in this full sun area. So yeah, we're gonna do the same thing over in this area right here. Okay, so this right here, this area where I'm sitting is gonna be the area where we're gonna plant the potatoes and our companion plants. Now, I chose this area because it gets that full sun. We're getting that full sun. So what I did in this area was I used my tiller to kind of break up the grass. The till goes 6 feet deep, and so use that tiller to break up the grass. Then you have to like work the land, you know, move, like till it real good, get the grass out, get the roots out. You have to get the roots because if you don't, they're gonna stay and still build up. So I went ahead and added some manure. Shout out to Brother Cooksey. Added some cow manure, and I also added some in-ground soil that I had. These are important because if an area has not been worked, you need to add some type of like soil amendment, which essentially is just a way to add nutrition to the soil so that it can be workable and usable and stuff will grow. So that's why I added the manure, and I added this in-ground soil. Compost works. There's a plethora of other things work. I actually have a link that you can check out that will tell you what kind of soil amendments you can use and give you some options. So I have a nifty ruler, and it actually has like the markings for different vegetables, and the potatoes are on there. So what I'm gonna do is just put the ruler down and mark out the space pretty much like all along this area, and I'm going to space them a foot apart so that I have enough room for them to grow. So, and I'm just gonna go ahead and like, here's our potatoes, place them out so I know where I'm planting them. Yes, so let me do that. So what we're gonna do is get my shovel, and I'm gonna dig a hole about 2 to 3, well actually 3 to 4 inches deep. So kind of like this. I have my ruler, but you know, not too bad. So that's about 3-4 inches. What I'm gonna do is I have my compost. So I'm going to put a little bit of compost at the bottom. I'm gonna get the compost and sprinkle it in there. And then get the potato with the sprout side up and plant it in there. And then I like to sprinkle a little bit more compost on top for good measure. And then you're just gonna put this dirt back on top of here. Alright, and then I have nifty like markers, but they're not with me right now, so for now I'm just gonna use this mulch stick and mark that this is where I planted the first potato. So again, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. Alrighty y'all, so you see where the sticks are? That is where I have planted the potatoes. As you can see, it is not very even, but it's okay, it's fine. And now I'm gonna add in the corn, thyme, and marigolds. So first the corn. So this corn I've been growing inside. Y'all look at this one. You see how it's like hanging, dangly? That one I won't be able to really use, I don't think. Actually, I can try. But this corn is in these peat pellets, these peat containers, which I will say peat is not good for the earth. But I bought these before I found that out, so we're gonna use them. These break down, and yeah. So since the corn will provide the shade, I'm gonna put these kind of like in between the corn. I mean, in between the potatoes. So here I'm gonna go ahead and put the corn in the ground. There's potatoes around this area, but none like super close, so it'll be fine. I go ahead and put the corn in there, and as you can see, my soil is really clayey, so I'm having to break it up a bit. And again, this is all kind of an experiment. I've never planted in this area before, so we're just kind of seeing how it's gonna go. But yeah, I just kind of put the dirt around the corn, make sure that I'm putting enough, pack it in there real good, and then yeah, we're all set. So I put one right here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put one right here too. Vamos, toma mi mano, todas las noches, todos los días, celebraré con alegría el atardecer y su poesía. Vamos, ven conmigo, todas las noches, todos los días. Yeah, so those three are in, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and add some marigolds. So these I got from Grant, as I told you. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put these like back here, kind of like as an edge foliage. When you have transplants, you wanna squeeze it out. You see it's really root bound. So I'm just gonna squeeze the roots real good. And then place it in the hole. And then cover it up to the base. Yeah, this I worked the soil, but it's still very like, I mean, it's still old soil, so okay. So the time I'm actually scattering it and gonna just kind of like see what comes up, and then I'm going to start some inside, just because I didn't realize the seeds were so small, and I don't know how much success they'll have, especially this I just don't know how much success, so I will be doing some inside as well. Yeah, so we have made our potato, marigold, thyme, and corn plot. All of these again are companions to potatoes, and they are all going to help each other grow. I'm gonna show y'all real quick how to do potatoes in the container, and then I'll show you what the mounding looks like, because when potatoes grow, you don't like they grow, but you have to add soil as they grow. So I'll show you all that, and then yeah, we'll be good. I almost forgot, we need to water. Make sure you water everything after you plant it, and also label, get some labeling. I'm making a mistake as I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't label anything. I forgot. I don't even remember where the thyme and corn really is. So just put labeling on there so you remember where things are, and you're not gonna get any surprises. So I showed you all yesterday the potatoes, or I guess for in your case earlier. These are the ones I have in the buckets. Oh, Jesus! Oh my god, I think there's already some tomatoes in there! I mean, potatoes. Jesus! Woo! I couldn't even lift that thing! So, I'm using a 5-gallon container. What you want to do, put some holes in the bottom. You can't really see my holes, but I put some holes in the bottom. Fill the container. I did about 3 inches worth of soil. In these, I put about 5 potato pieces. So I'm gonna do the same for this one. And you wanna kind of like, again, sprout side up, not too close to each other. So we have our 5 potatoes in there. And then what you're gonna do, so I'm gonna use my compost, but you can use the same soil as well. But you're just gonna cover it up. I'm putting probably, I wanna cover it, you know, high enough to where none of the roots are showing. And it's like a nice, like thick layer on top of them. So they have some room to establish and grow. So the thing about potatoes is that they grow underground, and what they do is that they'll push out what we call tubers. And the tubers, so if you can see, this is nice and covered. So the tubers are gonna be the potatoes that are in there underneath they're growing. And so since they're coming up, they wanna like come up and like, you know, show they ass, show they self, you know? But we don't want them to do that. We're like, nah, honey, you can't show yourself right now. So we have to cover the leaf up to the stem. So if you see like this one's really tall, this one's really tall. What we end up doing is covering, adding more soil up into like the top stem, okay? So you have to do this as they grow taller. You do this, this is some old. You do this each time as the leaves grow. Say each time they grow about 6 inches or so, you want to add in the dirt or compost if you have compost. I'm using the compost because they like the compost. And yeah, so you see now the dirt is all the way to the top of the stem, and that'll encourage their growth. Because that's the thing, if the potato pops up and the sun hits it, it'll turn green, and that is a no-go. Okay, we do not want that. Then our potatoes are ruined, and we're some upset motherfuckers. So I'm gonna do the same in this one, and then I'm gonna also show y'all what it looks like for these, because these need to be mounded too. Good golly, good golly. So we see this one right here. So as you can kind of, as you can kind of see, I've been mounding it, and so now I need to add more because it's growing. It is growing. So the way that'll work is you're just gonna get your compost or soil or whatever you're using. You can use compost or soil. I'm using my compost, but soil works just fine. Compost though will just give it that give it more nutrients. And you're just gonna put it around the stem all the way to the top. So you hit that first like bit of foliage. Ooh. So this one, it's okay if other leaves get covered up. We just want to make sure we are covering it all the way up. Went ahead and added more compost, and as you can see, it is nice and mounded. Can you see this? Yeah. So you're gonna want to do that for all the potatoes, because again, you have to add that dirt so that it'll encourage more growth. The more times you add, the more potatoes that it'll encourage to keep growing. So mounding, very important. Make sure you do it. Really, no matter where you are, bucket, in ground, both options are good for you. And I hope that this video helped you kind of like parse out how to plant potatoes in those two different like environments. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. I hope maybe you saw something new, and if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any corrections, let me know. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, I appreciate y'all watching. Can't wait to grow, explore, and do the goddamn thing with you next time. Have a good one. Bye. Who wants to say bye? Say bye.